Here, try this again. You are here live for episode number 47 of Live Susan Says. We are talking all about why it's not all about the numbers in sales. And that might not be a popular opinion. In fact, you may have heard me say that, sales, it's a numbers game, and it is until it isn't. So today we're talking all about quality versus quantity and what you can focus on instead of the numbers when you don't have the biggest audience, when you don't have the biggest following, when you don't have tons and tons of people that are available to buy from you and that you are selling to. Hello, Hazel. Thanks for joining me. I don't know what happened. I tried to go live native on Facebook, hashtag real life tech issues, and it just kaput on me. So if you were on the other one and you've come here, because I don't know where the other one, it just literally disappeared. So I want you to let me know. Hello, Carla. Thanks for joining. Where are you from? And the other part is, have you heard this? If you have heard that it's all about the numbers, right? And maybe you've even heard it from me, put yes in the comments, because I know that this is something that we often struggle with, and then we're kind of caught in this cyclical like trap of chasing the numbers. You're chasing the number of followers. I can't start selling until I have a bigger audience. I have a bigger community. I have tons of followers. I have lots of likes. I have lots of friends, right? Have you ever heard that? Does any of this sound familiar? Because I know for me, that's how I felt. I felt like, oh my gosh, like I have to be visible as an introvert, that like literally like Home Alone face. Because, because the thought of doing that in front of hundreds of thousands of people who could actually see me and I didn't know who they were just made me freeze in my boots. And it made me kind of hide out and play small in a lot of communities other than my own that I felt safe in. You feeling me? And so, what I want you to think about, Hazel saying, holler, that was me before. So, yes, we've heard this. Carla, I didn't know you were in New York. Um, and so, what I want to invite you to consider is, are those just excuses that are keeping you stuck? Because how many people can you sell to at one time? Like, I mean, there may be a group of us, you might be in a room speaking to people, but ultimately, how are people buying? Is it like the throngs of them all of a sudden that are going to be purchasing? How do we typically buy? So I'm here, you're here, right? If you are trying to buy something, which, side note, I do have to actually buy something. I have to buy poop bags for my dog. So any other pet mamas, you feel me, right? I still have to, I'm buying as an individual. And so what I want you to think about is, as much as we want to impact tens of hundreds of thousands of people, the interactions that we're having, whether they're automated or not, is one at a time. One at a time. So if you feel me on this, write one in the comments, because I think we forget that on the other end is just one person. It's one person that we need to serve. It's one person every single day that if we are consistently focusing on that one person who needs us, we're going to be able to make a difference. And so it's not all about these big numbers. Yes, we will get to that for sure. And if you already have these big audiences and these big followings, because I have had clients come to me who it's not all it's cut out to be. And we talked about this with my good friend Christina, that there's a lot of folks who have big audiences, big followings, big groups, big communities, and yet they're struggling to make the impact and the money that matches. And so don't fall for the trap of vanity metrics. Don't fall for the trap of like, this looks beautiful from the outside, but behind closed doors, you have no idea what's happening in these businesses that are crumbling and have cracks. And you're comparing the fact that they look so much more successful because it's all about the numbers. And while it's important for you to have enough volume for you to get traction with the activities that you're doing, what I want you to really, really think about today, because this is like a whole like mindset shift. Gosh, that was a tongue twister. one. Imagine if you could consistently sell to one person every single day, where would your business be by the end of the year? Right? Because that's essentially what I'm helping our students in Sales Mastery Society, my wonderful clients, to do. Because when we get so caught up in, I'm just going to send 100 emails, right? Because I've seen this. I've done it where you're going to send out all of these pitches. Oh, I'm going to pitch to 100 different companies, 10 different companies every single day. I want to talk to X amount of people. And while it's important that you have to talk to somebody in order to actually find that one person, it doesn't necessarily mean the spray and pray method, because A, you're going to be exhausted, and B, you're not focusing on the quality of those activities. Like, it's very easy for me to just go in and go, okay, let me find 100 different names and I'm going to send them the same email, send and done. But it doesn't help you. It doesn't give you the results that you want at the end of the day. And what I would invite you to consider is, what would be different if, instead of thinking about, like, I have to do X amount, like this huge number or this really, really big number, that feels like a stretch and it feels like it's almost impossible, and that it really won't allow you to do what it is that you want to do. Because remember, even if you send 100 emails, they read them one at a time. like if you send me an email, it's coming to me. I don't care about the other 99 people that you've sent it to. For me, it's one email that you have sent to me. And when there's something weird that happens, that when we send out these like mass bulk communications, we lose that personal touch. And I'm going to tell you that the quality versus the quantity is what makes or breaks your sales results at every stage of the game. And when we start thinking about our buyers and our people as numbers, it becomes depersonalized. It becomes very automated and robotic, and we lose that deeper connection that can happen, whether it's through our communities. So if you're looking to, grow a Facebook community, go and watch yesterday's live, because it was jam-packed full of stuff. And if you haven't grabbed your spot for the free training that Christina's doing tomorrow, the free masterclass series, go ahead and I don't know what you're waiting for, but go ahead and grab your spot there. So if you have, because what I want you to think about is, if you were because really in your business, you're the leader, you're the host, you're the person who's inviting people into your space. And so if this was your house, right, you're having an open house, or holidays are coming up soon, whether it's Halloween or Christmas, Thanksgiving, and you invited 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people into your home, that's a lot of folks, right? So how much of a difference could you make in those lives if you weren't able to kind of have a conversation with every single one? Very little. Very little, right? And so what I want you to think about is, if you think today, gosh, my audience, my list, my following, it's just not big enough. Imagine all those people in your house. How many could you help at one given time? And instead of thinking is not enough, think, wow, this is plentiful. Like, I have so many people that I could serve. And if I really, really dig in and serve one, like find one person to serve every single day, where you can make a difference in their life, that's going to snowball and going to ripple through the kind of the universe, the microcosm of the work that you're doing, because that person is now going to be an ambassador for you and create this referral network that you have available to you. Does this make sense? So Hazel is saying, no more big numbers for me. I know I'm blessed with it, yet I hid like nobody's business because I wasn't on the right track and not in alignment at all. Amen, sister. So I would love to know, are you focusing on small numbers, going more intimate, or going bigger? So, and there's no right or wrong, because depending on where you are in your business, either one could be appropriate for you. But the purpose of today's conversation is to invite you to consider a different way. Is that if you're waiting until you need to have that next milestone of, I need to have, 1,000 people on my list, or 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, like we're constantly going to feel like it's not enough. And yet you have all these people waiting for you who have put up their hand. And for me, even if it's just one, so if you're focusing on quality, put quality in the comments. If you're focusing on quantity, then put quantity. And if you're doing both, put both. Because again, there's no right or wrong. This is not a judgment piece of you can't focus on the numbers, because let's face it, in order for you to make the huge impact that I know that you're here to make, I want you to help as many people as possible. And if you can grow audiences of like 1 million people, God bless, right? Because that means you are shifting things in your favor. But the purpose of me coming on live today is to get you to stop waiting for that moment, is for you to consider what it is that you need to do today to help somebody today, not tomorrow, not in 2020, not even in 5 years once your platform is built and you're able to do all of these things. It's, could you do it now? And the answer is yes. So what I want you to think about, and what I'm going to get you to focus on, is the profit sweet spot. And so for those of you that are in Sales Mastery Society, this is part of the resources I am building out. So don't worry, you don't need to take notes for this part because I'll be doing an infographic. So the profit sweet spot, if you are not in Sales Mastery Society, get your butt on the wait list. And this is where you're going to want to take your pen and paper and write down some notes if you haven't already. So the profit sweet spot is 3 pieces. Makes it super simple, okay? So if you are struggling to figure out how do I focus on the quality, like I know it's important, it's an area that I want to really double down on, but it's not working for me. Here's the 3 things. Number 1 is your problem. Okay, number 1 for your profit sweet spot is your problem. You have to know what the problem is almost better than the people that have the problem. So what does that mean? It means that you have to be able to describe it so clearly that they go, are you talking about you, or are you talking about me? Like, where do you begin and I end? Are you in my mind? When you hear people say that, then you have hit the problem on the head. It needs to be uber specific. Now, here's the thing. Too often, we ask the wrong people for advice on the problem we solve. You're asking people who don't have the problem. You're asking people who have never experienced the problem. Or worse yet, you're asking people who don't understand the problem because they're not your ideal clients. So you're asking the opinion of people who, frankly, it does not matter. You should not care, because instead of giving you clarity, they're making things more confusing because they're making you go around the edges instead of going laser focused into your target. So I know that it's scary to approach somebody that you actually want to work with, or somebody that you have worked with, and go, can we clarify? Like, what was the burning issue? What was the number 1 problem that you came to me for help with? When they describe that, exactly, that is your problem. Does that make sense? So as an example, I'm at a point now in my business where sales doesn't feel sleazy. However, that is still something, even if they don't voice it out loud, in the back of their mind, you are thinking, am I being too pushy? Is this spammy? This makes me feel icky. I don't want to come across as sleazy, but I desperately want to help you. And I want you to say yes to me because I would love to work with you. And I'm sick and tired of hearing no's. I'm sick and tired of being the best expert, but it's not reflecting in my bank account. And my income keeps going up and down. I'm working hard. I don't have as much to show for it. And I'm tired. Like I'm working like a dog. So these are the words that my clients use to describe their situation before they come to work with me. So you need to have that clarity when you're describing the problem. So that's number 1. Number 2, the promise. Now, it's natural. You don't like talking about the problem, but the fact of the matter is you must be able to identify very quickly, but you also need to be able to call out the problem, because That's the only way that the promise makes sense. So again, for my ideal clients, if I couldn't help you to sell, and essentially, like when I describe this, I help you make more money without it being as difficult. So sometimes it sounds differently. Sell with more ease without the sleaze. Double your profits without double the work. All of these are ways to describe the outcome, which is the promise. And depending on who I'm speaking to, depending on the situation that I'm in, the promise sounds slightly different. And that's why, but the problem never changes. The problem that I shared is the same. The way that I might help you understand the promise a little bit different. And so you are probably a master at explaining the promise because you're already there. It's where you live, right? That you're already in the after zone. And so this is your natural tendency, is to speak in this language. But sometimes it like goes over, it like it doesn't hit the mark because your ideal clients don't even know sometimes what they're looking for. They don't realize, like, wow, do I want to make more money? Well, yes and no. Like, I just want to get off the income roller coaster, right? So that's what I want you to think about is if you're spending 80% of your time talking about the promise all the time without any mention of the problem, and then, the rest of the time you're just talking about random stuff, your clients will never be able to know that you are the jam. Does that make sense? So you have to be clear on the promise and what your deliverables are, because when people ask, well, what do you do and how do you help me? The what's in it for them is the promise. So you have to know. But if you're talking too much about the promise and never about the problem, it's going to be like a drive-by. Like, you're never going to meet your ideal clients because they just simply won't know to look for you. You won't. It's like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. And they're going, I need a translator. Like, so I'm lost. It's not quite computing. So that is number 2 for your profit sweet spot. Number 3 is your person. Okay. So too often you are talking to everybody. And I had a conversation this morning, and wonderful woman said to me, just similar to a lot of my clients, and they say, I can help everybody. I have helped everybody. I've helped all kinds of people. No, I know you have. I know you have. But the purpose of your marketing, in order for you to make quick profit and be sustainable in your business, is you have to be laser focused with one person. Now, this can be a real person. It can be a make-believe person. And yes, I'm going to bring up the dreaded avatar. I know. Sometimes that's like Susan, don't make me do an avatar. Here's the thing. The avatar is really just to help you with your marketing. It's not your business. I'm going to say that again. Your avatar is not your business. Your avatar is to help you with your marketing. That is it. So it means that you have clarity because now you have your problem, you have your promise, you have the one person that needs both of these, or has the problem and needs the promise, so that when you're having conversations, when you're creating your content, when you're doing a live stream, when you're going to a networking event, when you're picking the conferences that you want to attend, you go, is this where my avatar would go? Is this something that my avatar is struggling with? Is this something that my avatar is going to compute with? And that's it. Now, they can be a combination of all the amazing clients that you have worked with in the past, where you're taking kind of the best and you're doing a little bit of Dr. Frankenstein stuff, right? And you're going, I love the personality. I like the background of this one. I like the money, right? Like, I want to make sure that people can afford to work with me. This is the type of person that can do that. Like, if you take all those pieces and combine them together, and within Sales Mastery Society, we have exercises. That's for Hazel, in case, Hazel, you're needing some clarity on that. But if you're stuck right now, I want you to pick. So number 1, 2, and 3, right? For your profit sweet spot, because we are all about action here. Which one do you need to focus on? So I want you to write down in the comments for us, is it the problem? Do you need to focus on the problem and get more clear on that to help you increase your profits? Is it your promise? So write down promise if you need, that's the area that you need to focus on. And then the last one is your person. If you are being too vague, if you're being, I can help everyone, if you're changing the storyline of who it is that you speak to all the time in your marketing and in your positioning, then you're going to write down person. Okay? Problem, promise, person. Which one is yours? Which one is yours? Because without all three, so at the intersection of these three, let me see if I can do a picture and then you guys can catch up with comments. Okay. And I'm hoping this will show up right side up, but we're gonna experiment. So your profit sweet spot is at the intersection. Does that show right side up? Right in the middle. Ooh. Okay, right in the middle. Right in the middle. So imagine this is a person, your promise, your problem. All three of these are important. Not one is better or worse than the other, but where the intersection, because the person that has the promise, or the, I have to write these down, guys. The person that has the problem and wants the promise, if you find the right person that has your problem and wants what you promise, that's where you make money. I hope you didn't hear that. It was crazy upstairs. Does that make sense? Yeah? So let me know. Was this helpful? What is your action item? Person, problem, promise. And if you're stuck, now's the time to ask, right? Now's the time to ask to be able to get you moving forward. So Hazel, let's take a look. One soul at a time. Okay, Hazel says she's focused on quality. Amen. Even Jesus left the 99 sheep in order to find the one that was lost along the way. I love it. I love it, right? And it's really about find one person to serve every single day. I've adjusted this. So if you've heard me talk about find someone to serve, and then I realized, wait, you could be finding someone to serve and that one person is like for the whole week or the whole month. No, every single day. Because I promise you, if you just do that one thing because we're at the beginning of a new quarter and a new month, if you commit to doing that for October, and even better yet, for all of Q4, I guarantee your business will be in a very different spot come January 1st. I guarantee it. There's no way that you can find one person to serve every single day and not move forward in your business. There's no way. There's no way. Because at that point, people will be asking how to work with you, and or you will know who you want to work with and who you want to work with more. And hopefully because let's face it, guys, 90 days, that's 90 people that you've served. That's a lot of practice, right? That's a lot of practice. And that's what creates mastery. And that's what we focus on inside of Sales Mastery Society is it's the practice of doing these things over and over again. It's not the fact of I'm going to do something new every single day. It's when you make this commitment today on your profit sweet spot and the one item that you need to focus on, you're going to double down on this for at minimum the next 30 days, hopefully the next quarter, 90 days. It's the lack of consistency that kills our results, not the lack of knowledge or know-how or even motivation or willpower. It's the lack of consistency. And yes, there's combinations of stuff that goes in behind the scenes, and I can talk all about that. And so shout out if you haven't subscribed to my new podcast, please go and do that because it's a way for me to continue to serve you. And I'd love to hear from you. If you are listening, go over to the page and drop me it's a voicemail, y'all. Playing with technology. So, so go ahead and do that and let me know if there's a topic that would be helpful for you. So, Hazel says, mind map, please. Hazel, what do you mean? Like this thing? This? Or a different thing? Different thing? Let me know, because I can certainly create something. Hello, Kendra. Kendra. We need to connect. And I love your comment. Your avatar is not your business, is to help you with your marketing. Oh, that's what I said. Never heard anyone say this. Yes. I think that's why people get so stuck on this dreaded avatar. That's how I got stuck, because I could not for the life of me create my avatar until I literally said, stop this, Susan. This does not limit who you can help. It will help you to get clear in communicating with who you want to serve so that they can find you faster. And as soon as I did that, it was like whoosh. And so now, thank you for sharing that, because I've forgotten how much of a mind bender that was for me in struggling with my business. Okay. Hazel says, so here's the dealio, and I apologize if you see me looking over here because that's where my comments are showing up. So here's the dealio. I have an aha about my person. She's an introvert, afraid to be visible, multi-passionate, and waiting for her to be freaking ready. This was me before. Yes. Love it. Okay. So Hazel, I don't know which one you're working on. So let me know if I missed that. Person, problem, or promise. Okay. So post in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, please go ahead and post. And if you're getting stuck, add in your questions below. I'll be popping in to be able to help you. If you don't want to do this publicly, totally no judgment here, then go over, slide into the DMs and just let me know. I'm happy to help you. I have lots of messages that often come in this way. So please know you're not alone. It's okay. Get the help. Get yourself unstuck. Move it forward so that you can keep helping more people, because that's really how you get to the numbers part, right? So we need to focus on the quality. We need to focus on the profit sweet spot and get you going, so then the numbers will come. Or even if you have the numbers, but you're missing the quality piece, go back and do the profit sweet spot and make sure that you understand your problem, your promise, and the one person that you're here to speak to. Okay. So hopping off now to Hazel. Thank you. And we will talk to you again, not next Wednesday. I'm going to be in Colorado, but the following week after that, we'll be back here for another episode of Live Susan Says. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.